in so many ways, you made the world smaller.
Yeah, that's true.
So you brought this beautiful global cuisine to America.
When Cecilia came to San Francisco and opened her place on Polk Street, she brought a new kind of northern Chinese cooking to San Francisco.
Cecilia Chiang is the Julia Child Chinese food in America.
Pot stickers, the dish that launched the legend. She was born almost 100 years ago in a China that no longer exists. Her privileged childhood was interrupted when the Japanese invaded and she was forced to flee, and then flee again when the Communist Revolution swept over China. But Cecilia Chiang is a survivor, and in the 1950s she sailed into San Francisco. Though she had never cooked a day in her life, she opened the Mandarin, an acclaimed restaurant that would revolutionize Chinese food in America. She mentored some of America's greatest chefs, the likes of Julia, James Beard, and Alice Waters. Now in her mid-90s, Cecilia is mentoring a new generation of San Francisco chefs and sharing her century of kitchen wisdom. It was the 1950s when Cecilia Chiang sailed into San Francisco. It had been a rough voyage. She spent the first week confined to her cabin. But as the SS President Woodrow Wilson approached California, the waters calmed and Cecilia emerged to be voted the best-dressed woman on board. She had come just to visit her sister, but would end up opening the Mandarin, a restaurant that would change Chinese food in America. She would go on to befriend and mentor Julia and other icons of American food, including James Beard, the Dean of American Cookery, Chuck Williams, founder of Williams-Sonoma, and Alice Waters before her Chez Panisse fame. Alice may call her the Chinese Julia, but I call her Nai Nai, as we explained to Michael Bauer, the restaurant critic for the San Francisco Chronicle.
Nai Nai, call me Nai Nai, is Chinese, means grandma.
What's it?
Nai
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 Nai.
on the dad's side, so the son's grandchildren is
Yeah.
Nai Nai. The daughter's grandchildren is Popo.
Popo.
In Chinese, there's a
So
distinction.
you know right away.
Now in her mid-90s, my grandmother remains as much a tour de force as ever. She's always up to date with current affairs and fashion. She keeps up with local gossip. And she's always the first one to check out every new restaurant in San Francisco.
Wow, look at that.
Let's just get everything, okay?
Yeah, cool.
She dines out multiple times a week,
This is real good.
more often than not with a bottle of champagne to accompany her meal.
Cheers. Chang Mang Bak, so.
Coming back.
And she continues to be friend and mentor to now a new generation of Bay Area chefs,
Is this your invention?
Yeah.
sharing the kitchen wisdom she has gathered over the past 100 years.
Arigato.
Thank you so much, Cecilia.
We need more wisdom, more.
Nai Nai's story begins in a China that no longer exists.
I was born 1920 and year of a monkey. I'm from Wuxi, a small town near Shanghai. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my whole family moved from Wuxi to Beijing. I'm from a big family. We have 9 sisters and 3 brothers. I'm the number 7 daughter in the family. Because too many kids, so my mother called all the daughters by numbers.
Nai Nai and her siblings enjoyed a happy, privileged, and worldly life in their large compound with 14 servants, one for each member of her family.
All the 12 children will have same parents. My father didn't have a concubine. My mother is pretty tough. Probably my father had no chance to fooling around, get another woman. My mother was a very good cook, and also we have 2 cooks at home. Every day our menu different, lunch and dinner different. Every time we eat something, my mother always said, what's the name of this dish? What's the ingredients? Somehow I always remember what she said about the food. In those days especially, father usually always the boss, take care of everything. But my mother was the boss.
Like her mother, Nainai was a feminist before feminism was even a thing. But her idyllic life was interrupted in 1937 when the Japanese invaded and she was forced to flee to free China. Less than a decade later, now married with a young family, Cecilia was forced to flee again, catching the very last flight out of Shanghai as the Communist Revolution swept over the country. My grandmother and her family took up residence in Tokyo, but living as an expat in the land of her former occupiers never felt like home. My grandmother is a survivor, and in 1954 she left her family behind and was once more on the move. Now she was sailing into San Francisco, a place foreign to her in every sense of the word. Nothing was more foreign than San Francisco's Chinatown, the oldest and largest in North America. When my grandmother arrived, it was known for having the best Chinese restaurants. Back then, for most Americans, that meant chop suey and chow mein. At the time, the top restaurant was run by Johnny Kong, who in many ways was a predecessor of my grandmother's in serving up authentic Chinese food.
After I tasted all the food in Chinatown, I decided that I really want to educate American tell them what is Chinese food. The Mandarin, just by coincidence, I met these 2 ladies on the Chinatown, on the street. They said they want to open a Chinese restaurant. And they said, but we don't speak much English. Maybe you can help us. And negotiating the list, I said, my English just as bad as yours, but I can try.
She had known the 2 women in Japan, and without hesitating, my grandmother wrote out a check for $10,000. The next day, the 2 ladies pulled out, and Nainai, who had never cooked a day in her life, found herself running a restaurant all on her own.
I was the busboy. I was the host. I was the one answering the phone, making reservation, everything. No janitor. It's kind of a miracle. I think about after 1 year and a half, the business is still very slow.
Then a guy named Alexis Morab showed up at the restaurant. He ran one of San Francisco's hottest supper clubs and heard there was a small restaurant on Polk Street serving authentic Chinese food. He had met Cecilia in China and knew her as the 7th daughter of an influential family in Beijing, but he had no idea she had come to San Francisco. As his guest, Alexis brought with him Herb Caen. Caen was an institution in the Bay Area and wrote the society and gossip column on the front page of the Chronicle, the equivalent nowadays of page 6.
I greet them at the door. Are you working there? I said, no, I'm the owner here. He said, what? Miss number 7, this is tough business. You mean you own this place? Because he knows my family in Beijing. So he said, you're in tough business. This is a bad location. Oh, he said, poor thing. I have to do something to help you. And then he introduced me. He said, this is Mr. Caen. I don't know who is Mr. Caen. I said them later. He said, I'm in your hand because I know you're from Beijing. I want the real Chinese Beijing food. Do you have a 饺子, pasta? I said, yes, I have. Every dish, when he ate, he said, Herb, this is the real thing. I tell you, what do you know? Chop say, that's not Chinese food. Then Herb can take a note. And so I said, Herb, everything. He said, oh, this is delicious. He said, we will be back. So next day, the phone, I went to work in the morning. The phone just keep ringing. I was doing some cleansing work. The phone just keep ringing, back and forth. What happened? This is so strange. The phone just keep ringing. Everybody asked for a reservation.
From that moment on, there were lines out the door. A legend had been born. 5 years later, Nai took another huge gamble and opened a 300-seat white tablecloth restaurant in the newly renovated Ghirardelli Square. The Mandarin became known as the best Chinese restaurant in America. But what made dining there so special was the boss lady, Madame Chiang, who graced the front of the house.
She practically rules San Francisco. It's amazing. She knows more about what's going on than anybody. Still.
You've got your thumb on the pulse of every hot young chef in San Francisco, and you've been to the restaurant 10 times. And you and I have been out many times, and sometimes you want to stay out later than I want to stay out. You're like, I'm like, Cecilia, I'm tired. You're like, hey, let's go to another bar. So
you have remained relevant at 95.
I'm still going out about 4 or 5 nights a week.
Only 4 or 5 now?
Not including lunch. But somehow I still manage. I drink a little champagne and wine and everything. And
but you know, you have all of the friends that you've known for years. But then, I mean, since I've known you, I'm impressed with the way you've mentored chefs and brought people along, like Corey Lee.
Corey Lee is the Korean-American chef and owner of Benu, a 3-star Michelin restaurant in the Soma section of San Francisco. Though he is almost 60 years younger than my grandmother, they have a deep mutual respect and have become the closest of friends and confidants over the years.
I remember when I was a young cook at the French Laundry. So this was in 2001.
yeah.
You used to come back to the kitchen and talk to Thomas and talk to all the cooks. Then I think the first time you saw an Asian person in the kitchen was me.
Yes.
So you came over and you started to talk to me, and that's when we first met.
That's right.
Yeah. So then I was 23 years old. Yeah.
I didn't know, but you look pretty young to me.
Michael Bauer writes that Corey took what he learned from the master, Thomas Keller, and made it his own. Benu's sizable team of chefs works with surgical precision, turning out luxurious and delicious dishes served in a tasting menu that can last for hours. No other 4-star chef in America, Bauer writes, is so attuned with the Asian culture and uses it to inform every aspect of the dining experience. My grandmother argues that Corey's xiaolong bao, soup dumplings filled with lobster coral and clarified butter, can't be touched.
In San Francisco, you're the best.
No.
Really the best. Even pretty amazing. Even the Chinese cannot make that perfect.
It's a Korean xiaolong bao.
You see that? That's a perfect. That's the one to show you. That's a test.
Oh, good.
To show you perfect.
You want to try one?
Yeah. Wow, hot.
A lot
Be
of juice,
careful.
right?
Yeah. Wow, delicious.
Did you make pot stickers at the Mandarin?
Yes.
You did?
Bestseller. We have one woman, and she was from Shandong, that's northern part. She's really terrific, the best. She can make 100 in 1 hour.
With the dough and everything? Wow.
We saw a lot, especially lunchtime.
I see.
And also, really make the guotie really stick on the pan.
So you want it to stick on the pan?
Yeah, you're just supposed to show the bottom on the top.
Oh, okay.
That's the old-fashioned way. And also, the shape of this pot sticker. Like the old days, we didn't have the money, paper money. All this is made of silver. The shape we call yuanbao in China. So this shape just like yuanbao.
Oh, I see.
So bring you luck.
Right.
So New Year Day in northern China, first thing you get out, you eat the jiaozi, bring your luck.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But in San Francisco at the time, it was mostly Cantonese, right?
About 90-some%, all Cantonese.
And Cantonese don't do pot stickers.
No. Actually, pot stickers strictly northern Chinese. When we were kids, we eat this all the time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. At lunch hour, we make it fresh, the chef. The inside has meat, has vegetable, also has a little seafood.
It's a snack for lunch, not so much
Not
a dinner
a
dish.
snack, it's a regular meal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. In northern China, all these little girls, they know how to make it.
They know how to make the gautier?
Yeah, like my grandniece, they all know how to make it. They can roll with one hand.
I have to go.
In Japan, even all the little restaurants, they put on big sign, gyoza, gyoza. I think in Korean too.
Well, in Korea, it's close to northern China. So actually, our pot sticker is very similar. It's called mandu or mantu, right?
Mantou.
So it comes from the same word.
Yeah.
When was the last time you made them?
I made this a long time ago, 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Since I retired, I haven't made that. Too much work. Have you made this before?
No, we're going to make them today.
Okay. So you
So,
can
how fine?
just chop it. Just chop it. Wow. I can never do that.
It's good, you don't have to.
Then it's chopped just about the same amount ginger.
It's good or more?
I think that's fine. That's enough heavy.
Where did you learn how to make pot stickers?
I learned cooking a lot of things by watching the chef doing a lot of things when I opened the restaurant. Before that, I never get in the kitchen. I never cook. You know, when we were kids, we were not allowed to go to the kitchen. All the girls, nobody ever really worked. I think I'm the only one work. I didn't even plan to work and open restaurants. I think just happened this way. That's by coincidence. Because in the old days, when you are from a nice family, all the girls not supposed to go out to work.
So now that we have the filling, let's work on this dough.
Yeah, then you start to roll. Roll more on the edge.
Okay, so
That's
you
right.
have the edge thinner than the center.
That's right, yeah. You should roll that side.
This side?
Yeah, you know why? Because the other side you already had flour. It's
see.
hard for you to
Oh, it doesn't stick.
to stick, right?
Like this?
Yeah, that's really perfect. Inside a little bit thicker on the edge, so this way easy to
I
fold.
see.
See, you make this long shape,
The long shape. You pinch in the middle first.
right? Yeah, like this.
Okay.
So this way you make the half moon shape
I see.
already.
I see.
Then this. See, you have to line this up, the shape like this. You want to make one?
Let's see. You can press like that, right? And then this one here,
Yeah,
and this one that way.
that's right.
Okay. So you make the turn this way. So you want to show some of the guys how to make them?
Yeah. Okay, you pinch here, you pinch here, pinch here, pinch here. In the front, try to make it smooth. That's right.
And then with the remaining one, you split one this way and you split one that way.
Pretty good.
Do we have enough?
I think we need more to fill that part.
We have to fill that pan?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of oil?
Yeah.
More?
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
In a circle?
Yeah, you make a circle.
Like that? That's enough or more?
Yeah, more.
We have to leave some room for the lid.
Then they put a little bit water, put the lid on.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
More? More water? Woo, I got it.
A little more water, yeah.
Let me get some more water.
So steam one side and grill other side.
So is cooking okay?
The cooking, don't open.
Okay, so let's make the sauce. Dark soy sauce.
Then vinegar,
1 part to 3 parts. That much?
a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah?
No, good. Real good.
Yeah, it tastes good. What do you think?
2 more minutes.
Can we look inside?
I can see the water outside.
Okay, don't touch.
Yeah, don't touch. When you dry,
Okay.
it's when the water dry, that's done. Because inside everything raw.
Right.
Yeah,
And you can hear it too.
yeah. And most of restaurants right now, they don't do this way.
No? How do they do it?
Like they steam first, then they deep fry.
Oh, I see, because it's faster.
Yeah. But it tastes totally different.
Yeah. You can hear it starting to sizzle again.
Sizzle, yeah. When you see the water is almost dry, then you ladle it out.
Okay. Should we look inside?
Yeah, take a look. Translucent, no, not quite yet.
Not yet?
Because you can see the skin
I see.
shiny, translucent.
When it's cooked.
Yeah. when
So
it's
does that
cooked.
need more water?
No, don't pour. You want to make it dry. This is very good because did you see vibration of the steam come out? Otherwise, they drip down.
I see.
If you use a metal cover, then the steam
It gets watery.
got water.
So this lets it come out
Wasabi.
slowly.
Yeah, so this is really makes sense. In China, we have a special wood made of wood cover also.
Should we try it?
Yeah. Oh, now it's perfect.
It's ready? Okay.
See, they really sticky in the pan.
Yeah, it's translucent, right?
Yeah, see, it's translucent.
Okay.
Okay, you can put this in front, then you turn.
Like this way, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you put that side up.
That's a real thing. See that?
That looks great.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
So like this, and then
See, that's good. That's really good.
this is about the size of 1 order, or it's 2 orders.
This is 6 in a small plate.
So at the Mandarin, it would be 6 of
Yeah,
these.
6.
I see.
6.
How much were they?
$1.50.
$1.50.
For price.
I see.
Very good. Want some more?
That's good.
Pot stickers, the dish that launched the legend. Corey Lee, mid-30s. Cecilia Chiang, mid-90s. Soulmates.
Cecilia has become many things in my life. Of course, a colleague in that she shares her experience working in restaurants and owning a business and helping me see things from a different perspective. But she's also been a very close friend and understanding that some of the challenges in balancing your personal life with your professional life Of course, being in restaurants, you work incredible hours and it takes an enormous amount of commitment. But how do you balance that with your personal life? And she shared a lot of those things with me. And then she's just a confidant, really. Someone I could talk to. And I know maybe pass a little bit of judgment on me, but just enough to help me understand, but really just be a friend and help me think through the situations or understand it better. So in that way, I feel very lucky that she's in my life.